So before you proceed, this is a big fat fucking trigger warning. I talk about sexual assault, I talk about drug use, I talk about alcohol. That's your warning. I will attach links below for any crisis lines, help centers, blah de da. Alright, hi guys, my name's Freya. Chances are if you're watching this you already know that, because I'd be very surprised if there's many of you watching this who don't know me through Facebook or social media. If you don't know me, however, like I just said, my name's Freya. I'm very nervous about this video, as you can tell. So apologies in advance. You are sitting on a bottle of whiskey right now with my iPhone, with birds in the background and my dog snoring. But we're just gonna have to make do. So basically this is a follow-up video to a video I posted 2 months ago, which was essentially a podcast recording where I was interviewed about a sexual assault. I had a lot of follow-up questions, a lot that were very similar. So I've made the decision to answer a lot of the questions I got in this video, and this will hopefully help some people out there. Alright, so screenshot a lot of, I put up a, what are those things, a question box on my Instagram about common questions, and so I've got a list of them here on my laptop, and we'll get into it. We'll try not to cry. So the first question I've got is, what happened in your previous 2 assaults? So we'll just get straight into it. So in the beginning of the podcast, the introduction about myself, it mentions that I was assaulted 2 times previously to the one spoken about in the podcast. So the whole timeline of pretty much all my teenage years is very much a blur, because I was so unwell. So the very first time I was raped, I was at a park with a girlfriend, and she had a mate who wanted to come hang out, so he said, yeah, sure, why not? We had goon, as your typical Aussie teens do, and I got very drunk very quickly. I've always been a lightweight and I'm not meant to drink with the medications I'm on. Recipe for disaster. Of course, I wasn't asking for it, you know, all that jazz, but not a smart decision on my behalf. And I really don't remember much from this one. I just remember waking up on the park floor in the middle of the night. Yeah, essentially within me, I remember it being very, very painful. I was so drunk that I just kept passing out. It really is a blur. I know I told my dad, I believe I told my dad, but the other girl who was also raped, she didn't want to talk to the police, and it kind of just dropped it at that. The guy's actually, I use the word famous quite loosely. He's a well-known rapper in Australia. So naturally you can imagine, you know, taking a famous rapper to court, what's going to happen? You know, my word against his, and the other girl didn't want to have anything to do with it, which is totally fine. That's totally her choice, and I respect that choice. So that's probably the blurriest case for me. Yeah, you can just, if I gaze off, it's because I can just see it all happening all over again. The second time was when I was 16, very close to the one that was talked about in my podcast. This is actually the case that affects me the most with my post-traumatic stress disorder. So I had a mate, well, not really a mate, hey, I had never met him. I don't think I had, maybe briefly at a party, but we'd been friends on Facebook for a long time, lots of mutual friends, the whole jazz. And he said, you know, want to go smoke some cones? And I went, you know, fuck yeah, let's do it. You know, wanted to be cool, wanted to show off, all that jazz. Again, you would know this if you listened to the previous video, podcast, whatever. Weed does not work with my medication. I get unconscious very, very quickly. So we drove to a bit of bushland very close to my family's house. We both got back in the back of the car, had some weed, and next thing I know, I literally, sorry, this is the one that really fucks me up. I was on my back, shoved up against the door, lying sideways, and I remember looking up, so if I was like sideways against the back of the car like this, I remember looking up out the window, like leaning my head back. I remember screaming. Yeah, like screaming very close to a sports oval, a very popular one. Yeah, just screaming, help, stop, help, stop. You know, obviously I was fighting. Very traumatic, that one. I really, yeah. Ooh, I really struggle with that one. Yeah, so that's probably enough detail for now. Of course, if anyone has more questions on that stuff, I'm happy to go more into it, but I'm also conscious about being triggering and whatnot. I love this next question, actually. Let me just have a water break. Yeah, as I was saying, I love this question. The question is, did you know you had been raped? In the case where I was gang raped by the 3 boys, which was mentioned in the podcast video, I didn't realise I'd been raped, actually. I think because I had so much adrenaline going through me. Like I mentioned that it was recorded and posted to Facebook. You know, I just had so much adrenaline and suicidal ideation that I didn't really have time. I was so focused on the embarrassment of having my naked body uploaded to Facebook that I didn't really have the time to process what had happened. So no, I didn't. The case that I mentioned where I was in the car, I did. I forgot to mention the part where he drove off and I thought I was being kidnapped. I sent my dad a text whilst in the back of the car while he was driving off. I said, "Dad, don't call the police, I've been raped. I don't know where he's taking me." So in that case, I did know yes. The first one, I really struggled to remember that one. I did because I remember police. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't remember much about that one. That was a very dark time for me prior to the assault, so that's a big blur. Okay. What was the reaction of the first person you told? So my dad was the first person I told about the incident in the car. I'll never forget the look on his face. Yeah, I'd been dropped off. He eventually took me back to my place and my dad was at the garage because he'd received my text. He was very supportive, called the police. Yeah, we went to the police station, got all that jazz sorted. As for the one with the 3 people, I don't know if I spoke about it in my podcast, but I very unexpectedly told my mother when one of the offenders called me at work a couple of years later saying the police are doing some inquiries, and I had to tell my mum because I broke down and I said I need to go home from work. And she was, of course, in shock, as any parent would be. As for friends, as I remember, they were all very supportive. None of my friends were unsupportive as such. I had a lot of word spread very quickly, and of course, because it had been posted to Facebook, there was a lot of rumours, you know, slut, all that typical jazz. Alright, next. It's the same one. Okay. Did you get a rape kit done? Yes, I did. Not all 3 times. I'm trying to think I got done once or twice. No, I only got done once. I got it done for the second incident, the one in the car. I'll insert, I don't know how to do this fancy shit where you like insert a picture, but we'll figure it out. Now I've lost my train of thought. That's okay, we're breathing. We can edit that. I probably won't because I don't know how to. Yes, so I got that kit done. So basically, that was very traumatic in itself, actually, getting the kit done. So once the police are notified, they say, you know, don't shower, don't wash your hands, don't do anything. So essentially I had to go into the hospital wearing the clothes and the undies that I was assaulted in. and they take your undies for DNA testing, where, you know, of course they found semen and all that. And they use, I can't think of what it's called to save myself. I know it starts with C. Again, I'll insert a fancy ass photo. It's like a duck beak. A lot of women, I believe they use it for pap smears and all that. So it's essentially duck beak. Like, it looks like a beak and it opens up inside of you. So they put that in your vagina and it opens up, and they stick a swab in up into your cervix. And so they swab all in there. So keep in mind, I've just been vaginally assaulted, and now I'm having some old doctor, male doctor I may add, sticking a beak up me. And then they photograph you, they swab your mouth, they swab under your fingernails, they basically swab your whole body. They photograph your whole body because they're looking for bruises, anything like that. Yeah, so they did find the semen on the undies. They didn't find anything internally, and of course, you know, they like to use that in court, naturally. What's it like living with PTSD? Wow, okay. More often than not, I'm okay. There's yeah, it's been really hard lately, actually. 1 second. So a lot of the time lately, when I close my eyes at night, all I see is myself in the back of that car screaming and no one hearing me. I also get dreams where I scream and nothing comes out. The flashbacks, though, of screaming and no one hearing me in such a public place, a common sports field, there's always families there. The one time they weren't. So I get a lot of flashbacks in that sense. I do find it very hard going out quite a lot, especially around guys. I'm very cautious of what I wear, which of course I shouldn't be. Especially as being a female with like bigger breasts, you know, it's quite a hard thing to hide. So it's taken a while for me to go, you know what, I shouldn't have to hide them, you know. But still, if I catch one person looking, I freak out and I go into full panic mode when I know it's just a glance. They're just going, hey, damn. I also find the smell of marijuana very triggering, very, very triggering, because every time, well, 2 out of 3 times I had been smoking it and been drinking alcohol the other time. So, you know, that comes down to the whole where people go, oh, she was asking for it, she was drinking, she was under the influence, all that jazz. It's affected my dating life a lot. I think, as silly as it sounds, that's something I've really been struggling with lately, is how it affects my dating life. Like, I'm very young, I'm only 22, but more than anything, I want to have a family. But I can't even bring myself to go out on dates with someone who I haven't met through a friend, like if it's through Tinder, because I'm just I'm so scared of it. Even though it's a public place, it's a really scary thing, and it's a very sad thing. I do feel sorry for myself. It's very hard to explain what living with PTSD is like, and everyone's experience is completely different. Nothing seems to trigger mine. I hadn't planned on stumbling so much in this video. Oh my god. I should have just made a script. I've not rehearsed this at all. I'm just making this up on this. Okay, that came out wrong. I'm not making up. This is all true, but you know, it's just coming out as I go. PTSD. What's it like living with? It's hell. It's absolute hell because it comes out from nowhere, and I'm 22, for God's sake. I should be living my life. I should be going out. And I've been living with this for, holy shit, 6 years. 6 years I've been living with PTSD. Yeah, it fucking sucks. Oh, I love this question. And the person, I feel like anyone who's watching this is going to go, oh my God, how dare they ask this? But they actually sent me an inbox saying that they asked this question to prove a point to other people. So, no hate to that person. What were you wearing? And in brackets, they said, don't mean this in a you were asking for it kind of way. Okay, first assault. Cannot remember for the life of me. Second assault. I will actually attach a picture right here because I took a picture that day because I thought I looked cute as shit. I was wearing a white knit jumper, which I still have, and a navy denim skirt, which literally went to my knees. Nothing above, nothing below. And probably wore some thongs. Knowing me, I wore no shoes. And the third one with the 3 boys, I don't remember what I wore there, but I wore pajamas. And we're not talking... Okay, that almost came out wrong. I was about to say we're not talking your silky, satiny pajamas. But then I realised, even if I was wearing that, that doesn't matter. I'm talking Kmart PJs, like the daggest shit you've ever seen. If anything, it should have been a complete fucking turn off. I remember those pajamas so clearly. Wow. Okay, PTSD for you. What I'm seeing right now is a photo that the cops showed me when how they were able to identify me was through the pajama shorts. And the scars on my leg. All I can see right now is me passed out on a couch with someone slapping their dick on my face, because that's the videos that the police made me watch, which I don't think I talked about in my podcast. So basically, you'll know if you listen to it that the police found videos, blah, blah, blah. That's how I ended up going to cops about it, because I never did originally. And I had to sit through and watch hundreds of videos of me being assaulted. And that was one of them, the one of me in the pajamas. You would not know it was me if, because I laugh at this, they had enough respect for me to cover my head in some of them, Jesus Christ. But you could tell because of my distinct self-harm scars. And the shorts I was wearing, which I don't have. Oh, and the undies I was wearing, well, we'll get into that. Pink. Boring pink from Kmart. Granny panties. To this day, I love my granny panties. Oh. I love this question so much, and I'm sorry if whoever asked me this is watching, but I love it because it's true. Are you single because of your PTSD? And yeah. Am I single because of it? No. Does the fact I have PTSD help? Absolutely not. I don't want to get all lovey and mushy because there's a potential for people watching this to be like, she's so young. Like I said, I want a fucking family more than anything. I've been in a relationship for 3.5 years and I feel very lonely. Very, very lonely. So I got a really itchy nose. I've had allergies. And whether or not I'm using PTSD as an excuse for that, I don't know. It's quite possible I am. But I'm just too scared to meet up with people. While I'm recording this, I've got Tinder notifications happening. But I probably won't reply to any of them because I'm like, well, I'm not going to meet up with you because I'm scared as batshit. So, no. I'm not single because of PTSD, but it doesn't help. I'm trying really hard to get over that. I'm trying to have a bit more faith in humanity, but it's a bit hard to, as I'm sure you can understand. Yeah, loneliness is something I'm really struggling with at the moment. My best friend just got married. All my friends, I shouldn't say all, but 90% of my friends, they're all in long-term relationships. They're living with their partners. And it's really hard, kind of sitting back and watching all that happiness unfold. You can tell I'm getting anxious now because I'm playing with my toes. That's really funny. Okay. Another great question. In the podcast, you said you didn't try to fight them off. Why not? So this podcast was obviously about the case where there was the 3 men that raped me. So in the first case, I was too drunk to even fight the guy off. I was pretty much unconscious the entire time. I only woke up because of the pain in my vagina. The second time, tiny car, pinned down, screaming, no one's hearing me. The whole thing, I'm trying to push him. this is a big muscly guy, like he was a big boy. Yeah, big boy. So I tried, of course, but eventually you get exhausted. So having been through that experience, and this was happening with 3 men, I went, what the fuck's the point in trying? I'm a intoxicated female with 3 men on top of me, 3 strong big men. There's nothing I could do. Nothing I could do. Other than just let it happen. And there's possibly people watching right now going, oh, well, was it rape if you just let it happen? Abso-fucking-lutely, it was rape. I didn't consent. I was intoxicated. I was crying. I was traumatized. But I knew that I couldn't fight them. I knew it would just make it worse for me. I was being pinned down, for God's sake. I'm trying to be conscious of what I'm allowed to say on YouTube and what I'm not. But basically all 4 of my limbs were pinned down. Yeah, I was surrounded. So I knew there was no point in me fighting it off. Wow, I don't know how my phone hasn't run out of storage yet. Did the other 2 cases go to court? Why or why not? Case number 1. No, it didn't. Case number 2. Now that's something I could talk about for ages. I've had a very horrible experience with the justice system. The first detective was brilliant. Really awesome man to talk. He was a man and I felt very comfortable around him. He was lovely. But then he got transferred and a female detective took over. And you know, you'd think the female, being female, would be extra sensitive, extra understanding. She was terrible. She didn't reply to any of my emails. I made the decision at one stage to not go through with it because I just need to focus on my own health. And I emailed her at another time saying, look, I'm ready to go through with it. Had a meeting. She said she was going to go get a warrant for his DNA to match the semen that was done in the rape kit. Never heard back from her. I sent her hundreds of emails. I've thought of putting in a complaint so many times, but I thought, where would that get me? But so a female detective just ignore me like that was I still think about it a lot, actually. I think about that a lot, that she said, yeah, I'm gonna go get this warrant for his DNA, and then never heard from her again. Oh, okay, water break, hang on. You said you found out who the 3rd person was after the trial. What do you mean? So, like this person said in the podcast, I mentioned I didn't know who the 3rd person was at the time because they rocked up, oh God, just before the assault happened, really. And I later found out, oh God, I count my lucky stars, that he is now in jail for attempted murder. Yeah, he tried to stab, well, he didn't try, he did stab someone right in the heart. And that was on news a few years ago. I'm not going to mention his name because they're all part of the gang and I just don't want a gang coming from me. Yeah, so that was quite a shock when I found that bit out. I feel like who was the first person who told me what was their reaction? Pretty sure I already answered that. What support did I have? A lot. Well, once I told my family about the assault, the 3-person assault, I had an immense amount of support. But of course, for a very long time, I hadn't told anyone and then had no support in that time. The support I had from family and friends was quite amazing. I'm sure a lot of you remember the good old days of Ask FM, where I got bullied a lot for it. I mean, hundreds of people saw this video of me uploaded. I never saw it. And yeah, I got called a slut, a whore, asking for it, you know, the whole typical stuff. But my support was great. I had really great psychiatrists in place. The police at the time were amazing, but you know, I've discussed that in the podcast that changed. I still do have a great support system. I made the mistake 9 months ago of ceasing seeing my psychiatrist, and now I'm depressed as batshit. So put 2 and 2 together and bam. So I really need to get my motivation sorted to go back and see her, but let's face it, I probably won't anytime soon because I'm depressed as fuck, but let's hope for the best. I don't really get this question, but I guess it's good to clarify. So you've been raped 3 times. Yes, I have. I have been sexually assaulted 3 times, raped, as in penile penetration, 3 times, and one of those times was by 3 men, on and off. So all in all, I've been raped by 5 men before the age of 17, within an 18-month period. Yes, within an 18-month period, I was raped by 5 men. Yeah. Ooh. I do like this one. How are you so open about your experiences? The beauty of having the camera this far away is that you cannot see that I'm crying right now, which I love. I haven't always been open about my experiences, for no particular reason. I just didn't feel the need to share it because, quite frankly, it's absolutely nobody's business. But I know it helps a lot of people to speak about this. A lot of people, after releasing that podcast episode on YouTube, it was amazing. I even had family members message me saying, "Oh my God, I can't believe you went through that. Why didn't you tell me, blah, blah, blah." And I also had a lot of people message me saying, "Shit, this happened to me. And then, you know, all these questions followed that I'm answering now. I believe everything happens for a reason, which a lot of people probably find funny. You know, how can I believe that I got raped by 5 people for a reason? I think it happens so that I can raise awareness. I can help people. And that's something I really want to do. I really want to help people. I want to educate. I'm very passionate about it. And I think we should be open about these things. It's totally fine if you're not, but I don't think we should feel that we have to hide from it. I know there's a big fear that we'll be accused of being liars or attention seeking. But quite frankly, that's their problem, not ours. Yeah, I think, is that the last one? Oh, this is actually a very close friend of mine who wrote this. I love it. Will you write a book? Short answer is yes. When? I don't know. But I would really, really like to write a book, or I don't know, maybe continue making YouTube videos. I don't know. I feel like that's quite cannot think of the word. It's not easy to make videos on YouTube and have people actually watch them. So that's kind of what I'm saying. But I'd love to write a book. I'd really love to get my word out there. I need to focus on my studies at the moment, but one day when I'm a stay-at-home mum, hopefully I'll start writing a book, and until then, I will keep preaching until the elves come home. That's not the saying, but whatever. Oh, that's all of them that I saved. Okay. Wow, I did that. That was very quick. I have been planning to do this for a while, but I keep crying at the thought of it. So truth be told, the reason my PTSD has been so bad lately is I've been thinking about doing this video for a long time. Every time I think about the video, my PTSD comes back. So it's really good that that's over and done with. I also really hope that this is still recording because I can't tell. I really hope at least a few of you have watched through to the end here, and I really hope it's helped someone.